Hello everyone, this is Virginia and Eugene. Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is going to be some of the difficulties about student life and studying in Korea. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more interesting content about Korea, life in Korea as a student, and travel. And if you love cats, make sure to like this video. Alright guys, so let's get into it. So the first part about student life that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the financial aspect. And this is specifically for GKS students. For other students on different scholarships or different programs, it might be a little bit different. So this is just my personal experience about studying with GKS. So as you guys know, for GKS, you get 1 million won a month for a stipend. If you have topic 5 or 6, you get an extra 100,000 won on top of that, so it would be 1.1 million a month. So if you decide to live in the dorms, that price can really range depending on universities. But from what I've heard, it's between like 2 to 400,000 won, I think. But you guys should probably double check that. So each month that much will be gone, right? Then you have to consider health insurance, which for students I believe is like 100,000, 150. And then you'll get part of that reimbursed by GKS, but not the whole thing. So that will be another part of your budget. Then of course we have food. It really depends on you, on what you like to eat and if you cook at home or not. There's so many different factors, but you probably know your own eating habits. I'm just gonna say that at least coming from the United States, eating out in Korea was a little bit cheaper than back there, but buying groceries is more expensive. So that's why I end up like ordering a lot of food or just going to like restaurants these days. And then, you got to think about if you like to get beverages like coffees when you study, or if you go to cafes, that can also add up. So it really depends on you. So for the housing, if you're not planning on on living in the dorms and you want to get your own housing, it can be a little bit difficult. So I'm just going to tell you guys like briefly what it's like getting an apartment in Korea if you don't know. So in Korea, almost every place that you want to rent will have something called key money, and it's like a big deposit that you give them, and you get it back when you leave, as long as you haven't like destroyed it or something. And it can really range, but I think the lowest that they usually will take is like 5 million won, which is about $5,000. It really depends on where you're living, the size of the apartment, and then there's like different types of buildings, like office towers are the big ones. I live in that. There's also villas, which are smaller, usually 4 floors or less. And there's lots of different housing options, but just keep in mind that if you do want to get on your own housing and move out of the dorms, then you'll need to have probably at least 5 million won to give to the landlord, and then you'll be paying monthly rent. Honestly, for a one room, the cheapest is probably 500,000 a month, but it can really vary depending on where you live and the quality of the housing, things like that, the size. And then you'll also have to pay your utility fees, maintenance fees like electricity, water, heating, which is really expensive, and that really depends on where you live as well. But yeah, I would say that your housing can honestly almost take up the whole stipend depending on where you're living and how expensive it is, after you take away like health insurance and all that stuff, and food. So I would say that for financial aspects, if you want to study here with GKS, you might want to bring some savings with you as well, just so you don't have to fully rely on this scholarship. You are able to work, I heard, if you get permission, but I heard it's kind of tricky about getting permission to work part-time while you're studying. So yeah, it might be better if you guys try to save up some money before you come here and bring it with you. You also probably won't get a bank account here until you get your ARC, which is like the ID card, and usually you can't get that for a month or 2 after you move here. So make sure you bring cash with you. or a foreign credit card that you can use while you're here. So that's the financial aspect of studying. Next, I'll get on to the studying part of the studying. So this is going to depend on your program, the major, the school, things like that. But if you are taking a major that is offered in Korean but not in English, I'm just going to say that it's actually pretty hard, and that's been like the hardest for me this semester because the words that they use in these research papers that you have to read are really, really difficult. There's just a lot of new material that you might not have learned either if you studied Korean before coming here or if you did the language year. It's just kind of different than that in my experience. My other friends also said they've been struggling as well. So if you guys are not confident with taking courses in Korean, I would recommend try to apply to a program that offers it exclusively in English, because it was so much easier last semester when all the homework and everything was English and the lectures. This time with the Korean ones, it's been a lot more difficult. Like, it just takes a lot more out of you doing all those readings and trying to like pay attention during class. It can be difficult. So I would say the language part is definitely a struggle about studying in Korea. And another struggle, let me think. Okay, so the other struggle about studying in Korea could be like managing your time wisely, because if you're a grad student, you probably only have classes a couple days a week and not every single day. So those days that you're off, you have to really manage your time wisely and get all of your readings and homework done. Of course, that depends on your major, of course, but yeah, so that can be stressful. And then since you're in Korea, if you're not planning to be here for a long time, you definitely want to make the most of the time you do have here by traveling and stuff, hanging out with friends. So it can be hard to like balance school and life, I would say, as a student here. It's like a little bit easier than working full time, but it is still like difficult to manage the time, which can lead to your stress levels going up, which is a whole other thing. So I would say maybe the next part that you guys should be aware of is your health. So make sure that you're not too stressed with the classes and everything that's going on. And if you are really stressed, make sure you get help for whatever you're going through, and don't try to deal with it on your own. A lot of people have like health problems because they study so hard, and like stress can really do a lot to your body, especially if you're not eating right or exercising. So just make sure that you guys take care of your health while you're here as well. I think that is most of the difficulties that I've experienced as a student here. So again, it was like the financial, it can be a little hard to do everything on the budget that GKS gives. And then the classes being offered in Korean is hard. And then kind of like managing work-life balance. It can be a little stressful too. But thankfully I have these lovely friends and my wonderful husband to help me get through all of this. So if you guys have any other concerns or worries about studying in Korea, please leave it below in the comments and I will reply to you. And if there is any other topic about GKS or studying in Korea that you guys would like me to make a video about, also leave that in the comments. So thank you guys so much. Again, please remember to subscribe if you liked this video and give it a thumbs up as well. So bye bye from me and Eugene.